Vanamutu, dear colleague Jorn Rohde, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Vijayasundara, thank you very much for inviting me today. I think Dr. Vanamutu, you have, and also Ms. Vijayasundara, you have explained the situation very well on the Sri Lankan front. I think it's a great pleasure for me that we, with a small amount, could support this program, as did the Dutch embassy. I think the campaign "Vote for a Woman" is very important given the situation which you described with all the statistics. Germany's cooperation with Sri Lanka dates back to 1951. Quite a number of successful short-term and long-standing projects were implemented. I think at that time we were not into women's projects. That came much later. To strengthen women's political representation is, as you said it, a very important part of the successful achievement of gender equality in a society. 52% of Sri Lanka's population are women. And in order to have a stronger voice in addressing and enforcing the interests and needs on a political basis, campaigns like this need to be done. If they wouldn't have been invented before, I think here in Sri Lanka there's ample ground for that. And we are very proud to be able to support this program. I think political participation of women is one pillar to change the role of women in a society. More women taking an active part in politics will help to improve gender equality in education, labor market, and families. Political participation of women is not only one step forward to realize the possibility of every single woman to achieve and fulfill their own aims and interests, it's also in the same time the chance for a country to exploit the full potential of its population and society to achieve the maximum benefit for a country in an economic way and in the way of satisfaction among the population. But as you have described it, it's a long and difficult road. There's a paradox, Sri Lanka being the country like India with the first heads of states being women, and still with having a quite low participation in politics. I think in Germany it was the other way around. We had for a long time hardly any women leaders, but we are now catching up. And we are much earlier than Sri Lanka also economically, in a way that we need to, in a situation that we need to exploit the full potential of women. I mean, our labor force is aging. So for all the political and social reasons, also economically, it makes full sense. So we also did not achieve our goal of complete gender equality in practice yet. But we are on a good path. As I said at the beginning, we hardly had any women leaders, but as you know, our chancellor for 10 years now is Angela Merkel, and 3 of our state premiers are women, and participation or representation in parliaments is still increasing. We experienced that the first foremost step to realize equality is implementing a basic legal framework to give every single woman the possibility to enforce her rights, like Sri Lanka did already also quite some time ago. The second most important and most difficult step, however, is to change the image of women in all parts of society and put this right into practice. But although legal provisions, as I said, are a precondition, we need more. We need the social, cultural, and economic patterns also to change. Equality before the law exists for decades in Germany, but the reality was quite different. Minds have to change and procedures too. Several times you mentioned quotas which are being implemented, and In Germany, we also have quotas, but I think it has to be a mix. In India, I saw you have implemented quotas on the local election system, but too often the women who are brought into parliament are just the wives, daughters, or nieces of active politicians. So this is, I believe, not the change you want and one needs. But in a democracy, gender equality, I think, is really grassroots work. It's everyday's work. And it doesn't, it starts in the family, it's at the workplace. I remember when I entered the Foreign Service, we had about not even 20% of our batch were women in 1988. And when I was part of the selection committee, nowadays you have women's representatives in every committee sitting, and now we have achieved almost 50% of our new entrances in the diplomatic sector women. That goes for a lot of business and also government sectors. So, and that has happened only in the last 30 years in Germany. And you know, it's about which questions do you ask. If there's an all-male selection committee in the grassroots level on politics, quotas help. But as I said already, it's more important to change minds. On the workplace, what do women do after marrying? Can they provide, can they continue working? When my wife came to Germany first time in the 1980s, she was Canadian, she said the German daycare system is a conspiracy against the woman because daycare centers only provided daycare from 8 to 12. So which woman can work from 8:30 to 11:30? Nowadays you have all day-long care centers. Not everywhere. We are still working on it. But you know, these steps need to be taken to give the opportunity for women to fully participate not only in society but also in the political process. And I think that is why this campaign, Vote for a Woman, is so important. You start in the local level, in the center of the community, supporting women in local political points at women in the middle of society, regardless of their social status. And I think in order to reach the target, to encourage people to reflect their view on women in politics and society, there's a need of awareness about this issue among the general public and specifically among women. But in the end, I think money which we provide can only give, provide a first step. I think it's here on the ground in Sri Lanka, as Dr. Saravanamuthu said, and you know, you need to change society, and when it's not possible in the parties from within, maybe from the outside. Because when I saw the numbers here, it shows me that there's a lot of room for improvement. But I think it's important for Sri Lanka because, like Germany, you also face a labor supply, and it's important that you fully exploit on the economic side the potential of women, but also that the women have all the opportunities. So I wish you all the compassion, good ideas, and you know, a happy journey with the bus going through Sri Lanka. Having been here only 6 months, I have to say I have to visit a lot of points myself, and I would be very eager to hear after the campaign how this bus ride went along. So thank you very much for inviting me, and I wish you all the best.